NASCAR was already dealing with pressure, controversy, and non-stop headlines. Then this happened. A fresh, cheating scandal involving 23X Racing suddenly sent fans into a frenzy, and once again, the sport found itself defending its integrity. Because whenever the word cheating enters NASCAR, chaos follows. And this one hit especially hard. Why? Because 23C Racing is not just another team, it's one of the most high-profile organizations in the garage, co-owned by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. That means every controversy becomes bigger, louder, and impossible to ignore. Some fans believe this proves certain teams keep pushing the limits. Others believe NASCAR's rulebook has become inconsistent and confusing. But one thing is clear: this story is bigger than one penalty. It's about trust, fairness, and whether NASCAR still controls the garage the way it used to. Stick with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand what happened, why 23C got dragged into controversy again, and why the fallout could be huge. Let's get into it. Ryan Blaney has won his way into the championship. A great day for Kyle Larson. 7th career win in his 100 takes the checker flag. Now, before people screamed cheating, let's break down the real story. Kansas was chaos from start to finish. Riek earned pole position and immediately showed speed, but Hamlin quickly looked like the stronger car during the opening run, taking control and leading a huge portion of the race. For long stretches, it felt like Hamlin had it handled. Then, the race flipped late. Riek fought back and moved into position when it mattered most, but just when he looked ready to close it out cleanly, trouble hit. His car reportedly had fuel concerns in the closing laps, allowing Hamlin to retake control. Victory seemed over. Then came the caution. A late incident by a trailing car forced NASCAR into overtime, resetting the entire race and erasing Hamlin's advantage. That one yellow flag changed everything. On the restart, the field exploded into a 12-lap war. Hamlin got trapped, lanes opened, momentum shifted, and Riek found exactly what champions need: one final opportunity. Entering the last corner, Kyle Larson was in the fight. Hamlin was trying to recover, and Riek launched underneath at the perfect moment. Photo finish style, win number 5. Meanwhile, Hamlin went from likely winner to frustrated loser in seconds. And that reaction mattered, because once emotions hit, fans began focusing on something else. Not the caution, not the strategy, not the restart. 23X's speed. And that is where this story stopped being just a race result and became a full controversy. And once the details came out, one thing became obvious. This team gets attention unlike anyone else. Not every penalty becomes national drama. But when it involves 23C Racing, the reaction is different. That's because this team carries star power few others can match. It was founded by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin in 2020. Since then, the organization has become one of NASCAR's most talked about modern teams. Then came success. In 2026, driver Tyler Riek opened the season strongly, including a win in the 2026 Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway, according to available season summaries. So now you have celebrity ownership, strong performance, major sponsors, constant media coverage. That means even small controversies become giant stories. If a mid-pack team gets penalized, it's a note. If 23C gets penalized, it becomes a debate about NASCAR itself. And that spotlight changes everything, which leads to the real issue behind all of this: NASCAR's credibility. This story exposes a larger issue for NASCAR. Fans no longer argue only about who broke the rules. They argue about whether the rules are applied fairly. That's dangerous for any sport, because once fans stop trusting enforcement, every inspection becomes political, every penalty becomes suspicious, every winner gets questioned. NASCAR has faced this problem for decades. Teams constantly search gray areas while officials try to close loopholes, but in the modern social media era, outrage spreads instantly. So when 23C Racing is tied to controversy, fans split into camps. They got caught cheating. Everyone pushes limits. NASCAR targets certain teams. Big teams get away with more. That kind of divide hurts trust. And trust matters because stock car racing depends on fans believing the competition is real. If too many viewers think outcomes are manipulated by penalties or selective enforcement, the product weakens. That's why this controversy matters beyond one garage stall. It hits NASCAR's credibility, and that problem becomes even bigger when you look at who is attached to this team. Now add another layer. Denny Hamlin is not only a co-owner of 23XI Racing, he is also an active Cup Series driver competing against the very teams NASCAR regulates weekly. That creates a unique dynamic. When 23XI succeeds, Hamlin celebrates as an owner. When they are penalized, he often comments publicly as one of NASCAR's most outspoken voices. That means every controversy involving 23XI instantly gains another microphone, and Hamlin rarely stays silent. This makes stories move faster because he is both insider and competitor. Few sports have situations like that. Imagine a star player also owning a rival franchise while still competing on the field. That's part of why 23C stories always feel louder than normal team news. It's not just the team, it's the personalities attached to it, and personalities drive headlines. Because to understand the controversy fully, you also need to understand NASCAR culture itself. Here's the uncomfortable truth. NASCAR teams have always pushed the rulebook. From aero tricks to suspension ideas to body tolerances, innovation at the edge of legality is part of stock car culture. Some call it cheating, others call it competition. The greatest teams in history constantly searched for advantages, so when fans act shocked that a modern team might stretch rules, they forget this sport was built on engineers trying to beat inspectors. That doesn't excuse violations, but it does provide context. The real battle in NASCAR has never been cheaters versus honest teams. It has usually been who finds speed first and who gets caught. That's why scandals keep repeating across eras. What changes is the platform. Today, instead of whispers in the garage, every rumor becomes a viral headline, and 23XI, because of its profile, becomes perfect clickbait. And that's exactly why fans are so divided right now. The reaction to the 23XI racing controversy shows just how split the NASCAR fan base has become. This is no longer a sport where everyone sees incidents the same way. Every penalty, every inspection failure, and every controversial ruling now creates two completely different conversations. One side believes rules are rules. To them, it doesn't matter if the team is popular, fast, or backed by stars like Michael Jordan. If a team breaks regulations, they should be punished immediately and consistently. These fans want fairness above everything else because they believe NASCAR loses credibility the moment enforcement becomes selective. The other side sees things differently. They believe top teams are always pushing boundaries because that has been part of NASCAR culture for decades. In their eyes, 23XI Racing is simply doing what every serious organization does, searching for speed and competitive advantages. They also believe certain teams receive more criticism only because they are more successful and more visible. So, what do you think? Is 23XI Racing being unfairly targeted, or are they pushing the limits too far? Drop your take below and subscribe for real, no fluff NASCAR breakdowns every week.